Speaking of black holes, so we had that discussion about our black hole in our galaxy, Sagittarius A star, and that quote. So, just to recap very quickly, there was that photo that was, I keep saying photo, an image was captured, the first image ever of our own Milky Way black hole called Sagittarius A star.
Is it the first or second? Because they had a previous pic, right?
The previous one was the M87 star, a black hole in a young neighboring galaxy. It was easier. It was easier to get that one for whatever reason.
Yeah, anyway, go on.
There was more disturbance, and it was just more challenging to detect the radio waves from our own one. It may have been going the radio waves. I think it was radio waves actually. It actually was radio waves, but. Anyway, and there was that quote that this astrophysicist gave that we sort of got really hung up on, and he said that Sagittarius A star is starving, and it's receiving only a trickle of hydrogen gas. And he said that in human terms, he's only getting I don't know why the black hole's a he. It is getting only 1 grain of rice every million years.
And we were worried about that, weren't we?
We're incredibly worried about that.
Concerned.
The concern was huge. We were starting funds, the GoFundMe, send a bowl of rice.
Send a bowl of rice to the black hole campaign. Yeah,
spare a grain of rice for the hole.
So do you have more information on this now? What's changed? What's changed?
I was just thinking about that quote. It kind of really resonated with me. I was like, a grain of rice every million years. And then I started thinking about what a grain of rice is to me, because that's what he's trying to make it understandable to someone, because if you just say X kilos, right, with 10 times to the power of 24, it doesn't sound like it's starving. And I wondered, I was like, a black hole is just the most incredibly huge thing that we can imagine. So I was like, a grain of rice might actually be considerable. So I thought I should put some figures to it.
Okay, yeah, go on.
So I Googled 1 grain of rice.
Yes.
What do you reckon a grain of rice weighs? It's a tough question.
Half a gram?
It's 0.004 grams, so not much.
What?
Every million years, you're not really going to get too far on that. All right, so my body weight, 750,000 grams. And I think I'm relatively, I don't know if this is just being a bit arrogant, but I think I'm relatively representative of an average size Western male.
Human male, yeah, sure. Yep.
Non-starving. Specify that.
Yep.
So the mass, and then the mass of the sun, this is important because the only figure I had to go on is that in this article it said that the mass of Sagittarius A star was 4.3 million times our sun.
Yes.
So the mass of our sun is 2 times 10 to the power of 33 grams, right? And then 4.3 million times that. Okay, so that doesn't matter about the figures too much, but I'll sort of run you through it. It's 8.6 times 10 to the power of 39 grams. And some, I think it was a woman, I believe, won the Nobel Prize in 2020 for actually figuring out the mass of the Sagittarius A star. So we knew about it before we had an image of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get a grain of rice equivalent for Sagittarius A star is, what it is, it's 0.004 being a grain of rice divided by my body weight, 75,000 grams. And that equals, I'm going to call grain of rice Y, divided by the mass of Sagittarius A star, which we just calculated above. So that's going to give you the relative ratio, right? Grain of rice to me is what to the
correct
Sag A star.
Right? Yes, I see.
So I got a figure, right? It will make more. I'll bring it back to relative terms later. So it's for the sake of the argument, it's 4.6 times 10 to the power of 32 grams. So that's what Y is. That's what a grain of rice is.
To Sagittarius A star.
To Sagittarius A star. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I was like, I can't figure out that was very unsatisfying for me, right? So I was like, I need to give this some perspective. I was like, what's the mass of the moon? So that's 7.3 times 10 to the power of 25 grams. So Y is 6.3 million moons. And I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds like decent. That doesn't sound like you're starving. So I was like,
yes.
so this is
okay.
this is every million years it's having this. So 1 grain of rice equivalent every million years equates to consuming 6.3 moons a year, or a moon every 2 months. I'm questioning.
So every year you said what? How? Okay,
so 6.3 moons a year.
Yep.
I'm questioning how starving this thing is. It seems a little bit.
Right.
Perhaps maybe a little bit. Might have to cancel the campaign. I don't know how much rice we've sent. Have we sent any rice? Yeah,
we haven't yet. No. We're still in logistics.
Stockpiling.
Yeah. Look. What was so the question still would be like? What does it want? Does it want some rice?
Well, it hasn't asked for any, but I mean, it's hungry. It's starving. Surely that means.
Why would they say starving? Why would they use that terminology?
Well, I've got some more, just a little bit more.
The answer to that is actually 6.8 million moons or whatever.
Yeah.
Being a grain of rice every million years for the black hole.
Yeah.
That's fucking nothing, man. That's nothing.
Well, what about this? It's the equivalent of 469 times the entire mass of humans every second.
That's better. Now you're onto something.
So how do you feel about donating rice to the cause now?
Right, yeah, you're putting it in real human terms, aren't you?
Yeah.
How many million people a second?
It's 469 times the mass of the entire human population every second.
469 times the entire mass of the human population every second. That's a lot, isn't it?
I think it's being a little bit selfish.
That's a lot, dude. That's not a bowl of rice anymore. We're not talking about bowls of rice anymore.
This astrophysicist, I don't know his name, but he's trying to make it sound like this black hole struggling a little bit, right? If he said that the black hole is consuming 469% of the mass of the entire human race every second, I don't think we've been sending out any bowls of rice.
We need to cancel the campaign.
Cancel the campaign.
The campaign has been completely cancelled. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I'm glad because it felt like it was going to be a lot of work.
It did seem like a lot of work, didn't it? And we weren't even going to be doing any of the logistics and the sciencey bits of it. We were just going to front the project, get the money where it's meant to go, build the rockets, whatever you need, the rice, obviously.
But now I'll provide a little bit of balance for you. Yep. Just my last comment is that the Y, being the grain of rice equivalent, is only, so this is every million years, is only 23% of our sun. So when you start comparing it to something that's...
You've gone back to big things and now it seems
back to big things. Now it seems like it's every million years it only gets a quarter. Of the
sun.
Of the sun.
Yeah, the sun's pretty big. Like the sun's one of those objects that is in space, so it's a lot bigger than you think. You know, people who go to Egypt go, yeah, I went and saw the pyramids, and I go, oh, that must have been incredible because I'm a big Egypt guy, and so are you, and I know that. But they always go, it's so much bigger than you think. They're so much bigger than you think. Say that. And I go, how can it possibly be bigger than what I think? I think it's fucking massive, and they'll go. It's bigger than you think. So the sun's a pretty good example of it's bigger than you think because we're just like, how big is the sun? Like, how big could it possibly be? Like 10 pyramids? You know, come on, man, it can't be that big.